Welcome to Dead by Daylight Bootcamp, where every Friday on our Twitch channel, you get live advice from myself while playing and practicing in a kill your friends environment. This week we have a Trickster player who is very skilled when it comes to aiming, but needs a little bit of help knowing when to use the knives, as overusing the ability can lose the whole game. What are we going into tonight? What are we practicing? Who are we practicing?
I'm a very mediocre G-Wound enjoyer.
Oh, bless your heart.
I'm trying to down them with the blades. I find that breath is like I have trouble staying on point, if that makes sense. I don't play a killer very often, but I just want to be more consistent when I do play. Does that make sense?
Sure. All right, so let's cycle around, see where our spawns are. So as killer, just general stuff. Definitely take stock of where your gens are, what are good, what are bad. Definitely a good use of knives. What just a small suggestion is, I would very much try to continue moving as you throw, just to keep sort of, you want to zone people a little bit. But good so far.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. Okay, we did see some spawns back here. We see some crows ruffling. The thing about Trickster is he's noted as a long-range killer, but he's really not. You have to be... Oh, some good catch right there. Great knives. Great knives. Hats off. Oh, we heard the window there to the left. Good M1. There you go. The big thing about Trickster is he's mentioned as a long-range killer, but he's not. Really, you want to use your knives within about 8 meters or so, because you do slow down really drastically when you pull the knives out to use them. So try not to pull them out unless you can get like a good amount of them in a little flurry, you know. Yeah, I don't think that was a bad choice. Let's see here. Ooh. Oh, good aim. Good aim. Sharp. Your patience with the knives is very good.
Oh, thank you.
Now, I would be cautious about overcommitting too much to them, because you could potentially get a good mind game and get like an M1 here, so just be sure that you don't overuse it. Good knives here. Yeah, that was a good example of when to pull those out. I have to recommend breaking the shack door while you're here.
Oh, okay. Please excuse me for a moment. I have to turn you up. You're a little quiet for me for some reason.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no worries.
It's I can't hear with you for some reason. I just think
That's okay. I can also try to be a little. I could project a little more. So
I check every day.
Oh,
I
no,
put
you're
my
fine.
whole finger in there.
all right. So reload. Definitely would have probably liked to have reloaded in the shack just to prevent having to go too far. But I think your aim is way better than you give yourself credit for. I would, like I said, just be cautious about using it like at distance, because it's not really designed for that.
Okay.
That gen's full of people. There you go, not too bad. In that particular case, I maybe, instead of going for Elodie, who has been on a hook before, I think you could have pressured that gen that they completed. I think there was 2 people there. Okay. I think you saw somebody I didn't see. Damn. Good eyes. And then that main building has that gen going as well. Yeah, so oftentimes when you catch somebody on a gen that's almost done, they will commit like that and give you a little bit extra. Oh, go for the Nancy. There you go. Main event's rough. 8 knives. They're gonna hit the window, so maybe go. Oh, they didn't. What are they doing? Carlos hold himself. Okay, nice. She's going around. Oh, very close. You're doing great. Great swing. Now, I would reload before picking up.
Yep, that was supposed to happen.
Okay. Let's pick up on the knives here. I always try to reload before I pick up and hook. Ooh, this could be a flashlight. Okay, it's not. Spooky. Yeah, I traditionally, because once I hook, if I have barbecue, I want to be able to use barbecue and go straight to a gen or something. So I usually down, reload, hook. Good job there. That's the... Good aim. Good stuff. There you go. Let's see if we can get one here. There you go. You got two. Two away at window. Oh no. She might double back for that. No, she didn't. Good down. Okay, good job. Good stuff. Good hook. Our gens are unfortunately a little spread out. Nancy dying for another taste of hook. Okay. I was gonna say, Dino's really smart, so you have to be careful on the double back where survivors can watch you double back, because a lot of really good ones will just leave and make you waste your time. Okay. Yeah, let's say. Yeah, you had 15 going into that, which is always a really dicey situation, so I don't blame you there. Sometimes
I'm just gonna leave that.
That's smart. Yeah. There's a really good job there of like just throwing two and then just getting back to top speed. Most people have a tendency to overthrow and it slows them down far too much. Ooh, get some good knives here. There you go. Ooh, there you go. Now she's gonna use that window and go down. Carlos just dropped, but I don't know where. He's gone with the wind. All right, Nancy. Good knife. Good two knives. There you go. There you go. Remember, you slow down a lot when you use the knives, so if you find that somebody's consistently staying away from you. Okay, is there a reason you left the chase?
I'm not wasting time when I have the pressure down.
Okay.
I'd rather go after someone that's weaker than someone that's strong.
Okay. It's fair. It's a good mindset. Oh, they left. They went towards main building, but maybe coming back around will give you some advantage. Ugh. Dastardly. Dastardly. Okay, so one thing I've noticed, this survivor's going to stay consistently ahead of you. They're pretty solid. So the best thing for you to do is get them to throw the pallet. It's one of the downsides to Trickster, but if you find you cannot keep up with somebody or you're not able to really down them... That was good. That was really good. Is to, you know, go for the M1, get them to throw a pallet, something of that nature. Oh, that would have been a good set of knives right there. So there he goes. Carlos is to your left. Oh, to your right a little bit there. A little adrenaline for him. Okay. So where are we headed now? What's our thought process?
We're gonna reload and we're not gonna waste time on any chases that we can't take.
Okay.
So we're just gonna go back to the door. We're not going for a door, we don't care about
Interesting. So would there be value
that's-
in downing like the Carlos and then putting him on a hook and using him as bait?
No, these people are out. I'm not wasting time with them.
Good knife there. Nice. GG's. GG's. Can we get GG's in chat? Playing one of what's considered one of the weakest killers in the game right now. I want to point out the good in the fact that you're very patient with your knives traditionally, or typically. You're not just holding down the button, spamming them and going all over the place. You are trying to throw 1, 2, 1, 2. You know, sometimes you'll hold the button down a little bit, and that's an adjustment that could be made, but you are trying to be both conservative with your knives and accurate, and slowing down and tapping the button is paramount to being that. So, and the other thing is, I think you do have a very keen eye. You are paying attention out of your peripherals. You are looking for things that are very out of the ordinary, like a Carlos who stuffed himself in a corner. The first thing here, I think this was good. I would pay, and this is tough, you almost have to predict, and you have to get used to it, and the more you play Trickster, the easier it gets. But you have to know how many knives you can throw and how soon, which is really tough. So here it's like, if you pull your knives out, you can hit 1, 2, maybe 3. So I would pull the knives out, I would aim, I would throw 3 and put them. And that's more of a reaction thing. But at this point, we're throwing 1, we throw another one. So it's weird, but on Trickster, you can't afford to keep your knives out for longer than need be. He's that difficult to play, and it could be a little frustrating. This was very smart, by the way. That sort of thing where you're aiming through the window will work very well if somebody's on their final knife. So good thinking there. The other thing to pay attention to is just be sure you break out breakable doors. In a lot of cases around Shack as Trickster, you really want to go for the M1, especially if you're going for the down, because Shack is just so painful to play around. Survivors, because you slow down so significantly when you use your ability, survivors get so much distance on you. This is a really good example of knowing your distance for Trickster, knowing that like LOD is so far that could you even get a knife right now? The best thing you could do as Trickster 90% of the time is close the distance so that there's only like 4 meters between you, or 5 meters. If you can do that, then Trickster will annihilate people. But at a distance, it is such an arduous game because you do slow down so much with your knives out. They gain distance and then you're back where you were. So that's the big thing, is knowing like this is almost too far to use knives 80% of the time.
So I did not go for many M1s. Are there times when I should and should not use a bat?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. So with Trickster, I say if you're close like this, like where you are now, go for the knives. When you use your bat, it's a 3-second cooldown. I think they changed it. I think it's like 2.6 now. Second cooldown. So he'll sit and twirl his bat and he'll chuckle and he'll, you know, be all cute and stuff. But when you use your knives, if you fully lacerate somebody, especially if they're close, if you fully lacerate them, you switch immediately to your bat. There's virtually no cooldown. It's like less than half a second to switch from your knives to your bat. So you go from that 92% to 110% movement speed, and you get to keep up like immediately. They don't get to gain as much distance. So I would say your bat is important. If they are playing around a pallet that's very strong, overusing the knives there could cost you a lot of time. So if you run up on somebody, this is going to be a tough hypothetical, but I don't know, say somebody pops up and they're right here and the pallet's right here. Don't use your knives, just go for the M1, because if you use your knives, they may run through, they'll drop the pallet, and then you may miss a knife or two, which means you have to break the pallet, they run away. There's a lot of potential time wasted there instead of just taking them one and then, you know, letting them go, if that kind of makes some sense. So this is how far they make it if you M1. So if you just M1, you go through the cooldown, there's the distance that they make on you. The comparison's pretty damning, where you keep up with them a lot better if you knife them up close. So hopefully that shows things a little bit better. Like I said, the only difference is if they can throw a pallet or hit a window really, really easily, and you're right next to them like that, maybe the M1 is better. So that's the only sort of difference there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's one other thing. When do I use main event?
So this was a really good idea, but unfortunately, they can go out, they can hit the window like they did, that's like behind. So it does take a little bit of map knowledge to use a good main event. So here, they pretty much bailed before you could do much with it. What I always tell people to do is to be very cautious about building up your main event. So this is one knife left until main event activates. So in this case, like I don't think you did anything bad by like going for her or anything like that. You know, this is what it is. But in traditional DBD, if you're just chasing people around, doing normal stuff, I would be very conscious of when you're one knife away. Obviously, don't necessarily hold your knives if you're in a great advantage, but hold your knives until you could find somebody out in the open. This is almost like playing Hillbilly, where it's like if you could find somebody out in the open in a dead zone where they don't have a ton of anything to block them, or if you catch somebody unhooking and you have main event available, then throw that one knife, proc it, and then, you know, really go with it. You can hang on to it for a good amount of time now since they buffed it. I wouldn't typically activate it in shack, in a main building, or in like a jungle gym. Too many tall walls, you're slower than survivors. The odds of you getting a lot with it are going to be pretty slim.
All right. Well, I'm going to head back to chat now.
Perfect. All right, we're going to exile you back to chat. We'll talk later.
Bye now.
Bye.